Classic Restos, proudly brought to you by Shannons Insurance, Hare and Forbes Machinery House, Ryco Filters, Evans Waterless Coolants, and Pace Farm. G'day and welcome to Classic Restos. Now this episode is located on the far south coast of New South Wales. It's about a bunch of good old boys, their cars, their workshop and their clubhouse. And you'll see more right after this. It's thanks to Shannons. Ask about multi-policy discounts and sign up for the Shannons Club. Call 134646 for a quote and see more at shannons.com.au. And Hare and Forbes has the range. Buy online at machineryhouse.com.au. There is much to be said for guys that retire and the importance of having a hobby, even for those still working. Well, we all know how powerful our classic vehicle fraternities are. It's a chance for all of us to be on the same page, sharing our passion for classic bikes, cars and trucks. And in this case, it's the South Coast Historic Vehicle Club hosting around 200 members. And what a location. Merimbula, 450 kilometres south of Sydney and 580 kilometres northeast of Melbourne. These guys are virtually hiding in their own paradise. Merimbula relies on tourism for its main spine of economy and is home to around about 3,500 people in the township itself. Merimbula gives you an alternate lifestyle other than that of the cities. The South Coast Historic Vehicle Club was established in 1987, and this is a unique situation as 5 acres were acquired, placing the club in a fortunate position to build their own facility, hosting a workshop, storage for members' cars if required, and they take in students from the Eden Marine High School every Tuesday while school is on. What an opportunity to show these kids the ropes of some old school mechanics. They are the next generation coming through. It doesn't come much better than that. Hey, how cool's this place? How are you, Tony?
Good morning, Fletch. Great to have you here.
Thank you. This is great.
Fantastic setup. It really is one of the unique clubs in this area. Big workshop, great clubhouse, great facility.
How lucky are you guys? You're down here on the south coast and you can meet here and everyone's sharing the same common interest. You're doing different work to different vehicles. I'm really taken back by it. I think the old school, the knowledge, you just can't beat it.
We've all got a diverse background. See, I'm retired Army. We've got policemen, farmers, engineers, you name it, we covered all aboard. But we're happy too. On Tuesdays you come here, you can't swing a cat, there'll be 30 guys here. And the wives just love it because they know where their husbands are.
That's it. Absolutely. Yeah. Look, but I've got to ask, you're not related to Johnny Howard, are you?
Oh, I've been asked that many a time. When I was young, it was Paul Newman.
There you go. How good are these guys here? Now, behind us, Tony, we've got something very special here. Tell us the year, model and the make of this car. Then I'm going to ask you what you're doing to it.
Right. Fletch, this is a 1923 Columbia, very unique car, 6-cylinder, restored here. And we just about finished. You can see it's in great nick. And now the hood bows are being done. And I'm doing this for our member. Max Sinclair owns the car. And they're laminated ply hood bows. There's 4 to go on. I've just got this first one on. There's another 3 to go on. So a fair bit of work here.
Tony, this is where the experience comes in. Now, it's always fascinated me in terms of bending the timber. Now, run us through. What's the procedure?
Okay, well, olden days, this vehicle would have had a steam bent bow, and they were one-piece timber. Nowadays, we do it this way, which is much easier with ply. And this has got each section's got about 8 or 9 sections of laminated ply, 3-ply, glued together with polyurethane glue, sanded and brought back nice and smooth. And that's how we do it now.
Okay, so as each one sets, you add another one and then clamp it.
Exactly. Well, you've got a steam, or in this case, a steel bow or frame to work to.
Yep.
glue two together, come back next morning, put another one or two on. It takes around about a week to do one particular bow. Wow. That's in a rough form, then you've got to sand it and smooth it to bring it back to this sort of standard.
Obviously very strong too. I mean, glued in between, we've got the radius. Yeah. Would it be stronger than the original, Tony?
I can sit on one of these bows and they hardly bend. They're very, very strong.
Well, that's strong. For Tony to be able to sit on one of those bows.
80 kilograms too.
There you go, all of 80 kilos. Again, I just admire so much the experience of the old school. And you mentioned earlier about things being a dying art. And in some cases, that's the sad side of our hobby, isn't it?
My word, yeah. See, there's very, very few people now, only old-timers can do steam bending. You've got to have the right sort of steamer to do that sort of job. We tried it here, but it was all too hard. Yeah. We go for this technique now, and we're pretty happy with the result.
Tony, where do you go back with cars? Back to when you were a young bloke?
I was born up in the Pilbara. And on sheep property our family had. And as a 7-year-old kid, I used to help my dad strip down Ford V8 utilities, which we had, and that's where I had a first interest. And I didn't really get back into vintage cars till 1979 in the Army. I was at a particular unit and I had a bit of time, and I decided I'd restore a 1925 Morris Cowley, and that was my first car. Yep. And I've had 4 over the years, a Morris Cowley, a 1927 Oakland fully restored, then a lovely 1929 Studebaker Commander sedan, and now I've got a 1940 Buick two-door coupe, which I brought in from America.
Good on you, Tony. Look, we better hold it there. It'll end up the Tony half hour, but I have a tremendous amount of respect for yourself and your knowledge, and this is just the beginning. I mean, you could do so many episodes just here with these guys. Keep up the great work with this. It's beautiful.
One thing, Fletch, this is Shannons country.
Oh, yeah.
We're very much Shannons down here. All our insurance with Shannons, and a great company too.
Well, absolutely. I mean, been with Classic Restos 10 years, and sure, an insurance company, but they give back so much to everybody, and that is the difference, isn't it?
We're very grateful for their sponsorship. They've been wonderful to us,
yes,
and we hope it will continue.
Yes, myself as well. And on that note, if you have anything to do with a car club, make sure it's listed on the Shannons Club, because there it's for the world to see, and it's just another part of what they do as well.
Thanks very much, Fletch.
Right. Good on you, Tony. Keep up the good work here. We'll have to do an update down the track when this old girl's finished.
Great. Thanks for coming.
You're welcome.
We've always had a few cars. They're all special. The T-Bird.
Oh, that's mine.
The Combi for when we want to get away. The XR8.
It's going to be a classic.
They're all insured with Shannons,
We've also got Shannons Home and Contents cover.
which helps protect our automotive collectibles, tools and memorabilia in the home and garage. If you're motoring enthusiasts like us, it's got to be.
Shannons.
Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
Australia's changed over the last 80 years, and Ryco Filters has changed with it. But one thing stayed the same: Ryco's commitment to develop and test all our filters under Australian conditions. Today, we're proudly celebrating our 80-year commitment to a design philosophy that ensures all oil, air and fuel filters meet or exceed vehicle manufacturers' specifications, delivering genuine quality and performance you can trust. Ryco Filters, the professional's choice.
If you have a restoration project, Hare and Forbes has the tools that you need. Look at these restoration products: shrinker stretchers, dollies, mallets, bead rollers, profile gauges, professional panel restoration kits, and so much more. Now I warn you, enter at your own risk, because you will end up buying something. So come along to your Cap City store or browse and buy online at machineryhouse.com.au, because Hare and Forbes has the range.
Evans waterless engine coolant. Simple to install and stays good for the life of the engine. Suitable for all engine types, Evans contains no water, eliminating corrosion, vapour pressure and overheating. With a boiling point of 190 degrees Celsius, there's no application or environment too extreme. evanscoolants.com.au. Water for drinking, Evans for cooling.
Moving on through, how are you, Fred?
I'm pretty good there, Fletch. Yeah, it's good to see you here today.
Thank you for inviting me. How could you not be good on a day like today, hey?
Perfect day here in the South Coast, yeah, beautiful.
Yeah. Now, behind us, this little Morris means a lot to you. You've done quite a bit on it.
Yes.
Run us through.
It's a 1951 Morris Minor. Originally it had a side valve engine. It's now got a 1400 Datsun engine, a 5-speed gearbox, a Tirana diff, Tirana disc brakes, Tirana shock absorbers.
So you've made the Morris very reliable.
It's extremely reliable, very good in modern traffic. It's a pleasure to drive it.
Yeah. Okay, now what's the story in terms of the history of this particular car, Fred?
I bought it as an unfinished project. The body shell was painted and it was a rolling shell, and we've finished the job from there. We've had the motor, diff, gearbox, everything's been out of it and reinstalled. We've put in good quality components that we needed to meet the current engineer standard for the increased engine capacity and just the reliability.
You've made a towy unit out of it now, Fred. There's no messing around now. It would have left the old Morris for dead.
Definitely, it was quite a pleasure to drive. It's very swift on the road. Modern speed limits are not a problem for this Morris. Yeah.
Good on you, mate. And talking of drivability and comfort, those seats as well, what are they out of?
They were out of a Gemini, about a 1980 model Gemini.
Tell us about the work that you did around the dashboard area with your timber.
The timber, it's got a timber instrument panel, and the glove box lid was wood grain to match the instrument panel, and then we've done the complementary steering wheel and gear knob. They were all made in the workshop here. Yeah.
Okay, now colour. I mean, to me, I guess it's I think British racing green is what hits me first and foremost.
That's exactly what it is, Fletch. It's a Triumph colour on this car. It's off the TR6. But it is definitely British racing green. Yeah. That was their formula.
Good on you, Fred. It's been a pleasure interviewing you, and obviously yourself, you're an integral tooth on the wheel that helps to make this whole place turn.
Yes, it's a pleasure to help everybody out here with their old cars and their old problems. They all seem to have something at some stage.
Yeah. Good on you, mate. Well done, Fred.
Yeah, right. Thanks, Fletch.
Time for Bob on today's show. Hello, mate.
G'day, Fletch. How are you, mate?
I'm good. Thanks for coming over.
Thank you for having me.
You know, I reckon a team of wild horses couldn't keep you away from this place. Am I right?
You're right. It gives me something to do for the week. Yes.
That's good. Look at you. You've turned up and you've got a two-door 1967 XP Falcon Coupe. I mean, how cool are you?
That's rare, isn't it, these days? Yeah, it's a pretty original one too.
Yeah.
And it's getting more expensive all the time.
Does it keep you young, Bob?
Oh, yeah. The whole place keeps me young here. I go nuts otherwise.
Yeah, like on a serious note, I mean, how good is this? I mean, for these guys in retirement, as we said earlier on today's show, turning up here and feeling a part of something as well, that's what it means.
Yeah.
Time for your Ford. Now, Bob, here in the daylight, here in the sun, the red, a two-door car, a black and a red interior. Wow, where does this car go back with you? Tell us the beginning.
About 22 years, I think. I bought it from a fella that rebuilt it in Wollongong. It just needed a lot of tender, loving care, which I've been giving it ever since.
Isn't that good? Now, it's also got the 200 engine as well?
That's correct, yes. It was one of the last off the line, and the 200 was for the ZR, the next one. Yeah.
I mean, the thing is too, by the time XP rolled around, the last of that first traditional shape, they were a good car. They were a light car, and to have the 200 engine up front, I bet it goes okay.
It's plenty powerful enough for what it is. Yeah,
good enough. Good enough for you, Bob.
Yeah,
isn't it?
More than enough. I'm not selling it yet. I will later.
Absolutely. Now, I love what you've done too in terms of dashboard interior, the way you've the condition of the car. It's a real credit to you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I enjoyed every minute of it.
Yeah. So when the XMs and XPs came out and they were brand new, could you afford a brand new one of those back then, or no chance?
No chance. No. And I don't think I could afford another one now if I didn't have one.
But I think this is what's nice, because you've had this particular car for 20-something years, but these are the memories that you have had from back in the 60s. You can remember these cars when they were new. You get to a stage of your life now where, the last 22 years, you've got one.
That's correct, yes. And the value's going up now. Ford have shut down, of course. It must go up. Would you not think?
Oh, definitely. What do you reckon? Reckon Bob's car's worth a bit? I reckon it'd be worth a bit, Bob, but look, who cares? The main thing is that you are enjoying it.
And I enjoy it. You can see by all the runs I've done on the front of it, all the badges there, which have all been rallies.
Yeah.
Enjoyed all of them.
Yeah. Bob, it's been wonderful catching up with you. It's time to go and rest the legs. Go and take a load off, mate. And I, again, thank you very much for coming along here today.
Thanks for your company. It was great, mate.
All right.
Enjoyed it.
I spend a lot of time out here. The RT Charger's the real deal. An E49. Remember A-Charger? I've always got projects on the go, so Shannon's laid-up cover helps protect my restorations. I'm Mopar through and through. It's a passion Shannon's understands. I wouldn't insure my cars and bikes with anyone else.
Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
Evans waterless engine coolant. Simple to install and stays good for the life of the engine. Suitable for all engine types, Evans contains no water, eliminating corrosion, vapour pressure and overheating. With a boiling point of 190 degrees Celsius, there's no application or environment too extreme. evanscoolants.com.au. Water for drinking, Evans for cooling.
Australia's changed over the last 80 years, and Ryco Filters has changed with it. But one thing stayed the same: Ryco's commitment to develop and test all our filters under Australian conditions. Today, we're proudly celebrating our 80-year commitment to a design philosophy that ensures all oil, air and fuel filters meet or exceed vehicle manufacturers' specifications, delivering genuine quality and performance you can trust. Ryco Filters, the professional's choice.
Heron Forbes Machinery House has been family owned and operated for over 85 years, and it's easy to see why. And with a range like this, you cannot go wrong. Planning on welding? Look at these welding tables and clamps, air compressors and different air tools, sandblasting cabinets, through to spray guns. Everyone is welcome at Machinery House, and they're also open Saturday mornings. Their range of machine tools are workshop tested. There are competitive freight rates around Australia, and you can buy online at machineryhouse.com.au. So remember, Hare and Forbes has the range. How you doing this afternoon, Gary?
Yeah, real well, Fletch.
Good, mate. Sorry to get you off the tools. You're down the back working. I mean, you know, look, you're a man of action.
Yeah, you get that. Involved with hot rods, eh?
Yeah. It's so good. You've got a big facility down the back there, and mate, you're doing projects out the back. Tell us quickly about your truck.
Yeah, I've got a 70 model F350 chassis, which I'm putting a 38 model Ford cab on, and it's going to be a ramp back transporter for one of the rods. Yeah,
a couple of big pipes hanging out of it.
Yeah, a couple of chimneys out the top.
Yeah, that's the go. You do some clever work. I mean, putting that old cab on the later chassis be a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, it has been. It's quick to say these sort of things, but when you do it, it's not so quick.
Absolutely. 351 Clevo up front.
351 Clevo, C6 and a Dana dual back end.
Yeah. Good on you, mate. That's going to be one hell of a tow truck.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah.
There's just a look about the old cabs on trucks. I mean, they've really come into their own. They're such a cool looking thing, aren't they?
They are. They look pretty tough and very different. Yeah.
And speaking of which, this 1931 behind us now, to think when these cars were brand new, they were about half a metre taller up off the road. They had two inch wide rubber. Who would have ever thought, over half a century later, that these cars would be modified, wide rubber, lowered, and beautiful hot rods made out of them.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Yeah, there's plenty of them around at the moment, and there's some nice stuff out there.
How much work have you done yourself on this one, Gary?
I've done quite a bit on it. Had another motor put in it, had all the trim done in it, and had some fenders and stuff put on it.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a high boy originally.
You've driven it a few places too, I believe.
It's done a lot of miles, had it for 8 years. It's been the Nationals in South Australia, Queensland, Victoria. It's done quite a lot of miles.
Yeah, that's good.
We tow the little teardrop behind it with our bed in the back. So.
Isn't that awesome? I mean, to build them is one thing, but then to get out on the road and enjoy them, well, obviously that is what it's about. But time restraints on a lot of people. Some people have more time than others, but it's just good that you're out enjoying yours.
Yeah, retirement. I've only had retirement for the last 2 years, so we're pretty much enjoying that. Yeah.
You are enjoying it?
Oh yeah. Apart from all this work, I've straddled onto myself.
Gary, with this playground you've got here on this beautiful 5-acre property with a view over there, and I could think of worse places to come to every day.
Yeah, well, that's true. There could be a lot worse places to come, and there are a good bunch of guys here, and it's just a great facility.
Yep.
Yeah, great facility. I haven't seen any other car clubs like this one with workshops and everything.
Gary, you're a clever guy too. I mean, doing a lot of work yourself as well. With this particular 31 behind us, when you were going through the build, what was the hardest part?
Oh, gee.
Apart from the entire project.
Well, the chassis was at a mate's place hanging on the shed wall for quite a few years. It's got a billet jag back end in it and 4-bar front. Yeah, there's been a fair bit of work in it, and finding an original old steel bonnet for it was fun at Bendigo Swap Meet. Yeah. So, yeah.
Engine specifications up front, what have you done there?
302 Clevo, board deck, crow cam, aluminium heads, roller rockers, 700 Holly and air gap manifold.
Yeah, just nice for the street.
Yeah, just nice for the street.
Yeah, good on you, mate. All right, Gary, I'll let you get back to it, mate.
All right then, thank you very much, Flex.
No, that's all right. I mean, I'm having fun here today too in terms of who I'm interviewing. I mean, such a broad spectrum of guys.
You've got a big mix of cars here.
Yeah.
Big mix of cars, and when you go from this down to the Morris Miners, we've got sort of all sorts here.
That's what I mean where I'm having fun, because the door will open up and you just don't know what car is next.
Rolls Royces, Bentleys, Ferraris, all sorts of things. Yeah.
All right, mate. Let you get back to it, Gary.
Good on you, Fletch. Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Bye.
With me now I have Club President Alex McQueen. How are you?
I'm fine, Fletch. Glad to have you aboard.
Thank you very much. You know, this is outstanding. Now, there's a few things that I would just like to mention with you and talk about. Now, first of all, we have replica cars out there in the meeting room. Tell us about those.
Well, yes, they're a recent acquisition by us. There are 3 of them, and they've been donated by a gentleman by the name of Don Langley from Coffs Harbour. Don spent many years of his life developing these replicas, and they are identical models from particular makes of cars that he was sort of in favour of when he was younger. So he's rebuilt these in his later years, and now unfortunately he's had to go to a retirement village. Right. So he has no room for them anymore. Yep. So he shopped around to see who may be interested in taking them and perhaps displaying them somewhere. Now, one of our members, Frank Rodwell, who's written the book I Like Old Cars, got in touch with him and said we might be interested down here. Frank went up there, had a look at them, and convinced Don that we'd make a good home for his cars. And they are a great sort of talking points for people who come and visit.
And speaking of talking point, we have the yellow Citroen there as well. Now, incredible to learn that Citroen is French for lemon, which is probably not a good underlying role for confidence in the brand of a vehicle.
No, well, maybe the French have produced their share of lemons over the years, but this one's called Petit Lemon in French. It's the little Citroen. Quite a cute car, and it's actually another replica. It's an identical model to the one that first circumnavigated Australia in 1925. Yep.
One of the main things that I wanted to have a chat with you about too, which was instigated by yourself, which I think this is fantastic. This is the mentor program. We've got students from the Eden High School here learning some old school mechanic stuff here with Tony over there. Walk us through and explain what they're doing today.
Well, the scheme was conceived way back in 2002 when I actually met a golfer on the Merimbula golf course who was a teacher at the high school. And he asked us what we do at the car club, and I explained to him. He said, well, he'd like to come and have a look because maybe we could help with the education of some of the boys that he has at the school, and some of the ones that in particular need a male influence in their life.
We've got a Model T frame over there. This is incredible hands-on experience for these guys to see a timber-spoked wheel being restored. I think that's incredible.
It is, and it's quite a skill that's been lost now, of course, and that it was the main way of making wheels back in the 20s, and to see this happening again today, the boys have got a real unique experience because there wouldn't be many places that are rebuilding wooden spoke wheels.
Alex, I think it's wonderful what you guys stand for here, offering this experience to the students from the high school. This whole episode has really just taken me by storm. Here in Merimbula, your own little hidden paradise, over 200 members. Well done.
Yeah, well, we enjoy our activities here, and the boys enhance that too. So.
Thanks, Alex.
Thanks, Fletch.
Well, I hope you found this week's episode of Classic Restos extra special. The power of a group of retired guys and what they stand for in preserving and maintaining their classic vehicles, keeping one another company, right down to the mentoring program helping out the guys from the Eden Marine High School. And as I say at the end of every episode of Classic Restos, no matter where you're watching from, until next week, please ride and drive safe. I'm Fletch, and I thank you very much for watching. You can like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/ClassicRestosTV and watch catch-up episodes at shannons.com.au. Classic Restos, proudly brought to you by Shannons Insurance, Hare and Forbes Machinery House, Ryco Filters, Evans Waterless Coolants and Pace Farm.